And good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. Saturday morning in Eastern North America, off in the future of Sunday from Australia. Yes.
Indeed.
All right. Let me just check something. Yep. Yeah. Well, my mic levels and stuff look good. So yay, we're good to go.
Yep. I hear y'all loud and clear.
Fantastic. So
Drew's a little quiet for me.
Yeah, Drew's quiet right now. But he'll get louder in about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, I think.
Maybe closer to half an hour.
Half an hour, fair enough. Then.
Depends on when he left.
Fair enough.
Or when he leaves.
All
We'll see.
right.
We'll see.
Yep. Alrighty.
We can teleport him.
Yes, exactly. So, real life, Drew is stuck at work. Will be joining us, as Chantel says, about a half an hour. So yeah. But let's get going with the show as it is. Jamie, introductions, please.
That's me. I'm Jamie. I play Spider, and I'm super excited to be back in not Breezy Point Bay. Where are we? Good at Delta Cove. That's right.
Traumatic flashback there for a moment.
Hey, we did all right in Breezy Point Bay.
Yes,
we went okay.
Yeah, it went very well. All right, Chantel.
Howdy. I'm good. I'm here. I'm Alexandre.
All right.
Having a good day. Glad to be here. Thanks.
That awkward moment where Michelle points the camera at you and you have no idea what to say. Hi there, Sam.
Yeah.
Hello. If I unmute myself, you can hear me. That's how it works. I am Sam. I will be playing Chevalier, and I am excited to do so.
Excellent. All the excitement. And I'm Michel Viacour. I'm the Dungeon Master ST for this. So as last I recall events, someone was about to throw Spider over a wall that was watching them, I think is the moment I have a recollection of. And I believe, yeah, so it was Spider being thrown over the wall that was watching Alexandre, with Chevalier watching the entire thing skeptically, if I recall correctly. So how about we get
I think by that's definitely the intent of the action. I think we cut basically with Lucas basically just picking Spider up and turning for the wall. Yeah. And we're going. I don't think we'd actually.
All I say is what the great moustache wants, the great moustache gets. And
but that's
he
not
wanted
how
a
that
catapult.
works. That's not how it works. No.
Yeah. I know. Look, I know there's a lot to say on the game. I didn't realize there was that much to say.
Chevalier, can I get your summation of events leading up to this awkward moment?
We have decided that the best course of action, given our situation, was to take Aquidian up on his offer. Once we had confirmed this with him, we were given further information about the location, about the house that we need to break into to steal the urn, to prove ourselves, as it were. On the way, Lucas was acting strangely, insisting that it would be a job for all of us, despite 3/4 of the party not being suited for that kind of work. And so when he then decided to pick up his brother with the intent of throwing him over a wall that is magically enchanted to watch for intruders, alarming is not quite the right word. Though, except for that, I am feeling rather confident about our chances. I am fairly confident I will be able to disable a section of wall so that Mr. Kilcare will be able to enter unseen, and from there we would be trusting in his abilities, of which I have no doubt he is up to the task. We just need to calm Lucas down, I guess.
Right. So, Spider, from your pre-launch perspective, how are things?
Yeah. I don't feel as grounded as normal. I can just keep making puns all day, but in the interest of not being kicked off the air by Chantel, we made contact with Rachel Gray and Aquidian and got details on the job. Unfortunately, the Goon Squad insist on accompanying me everywhere while I'm trying to scope out the joint. That said, I'm rather glad for Chevalier's presence, given the magical nature of this wall and business. Wouldn't have expected that in a backwater like this. But yeah, I'm pretty cool, calm, and collected. And why are you picking me up, Lucas? No, put me down! Put me down!
I think it's an excellent place to get Alexandri's launch pad view.
It's a beautiful day. I've been given a rose. I think it's a really good time to just walk away. Maybe today is the day. Just walk away from this situation. Because what is happening? Lucas, put him down, please. And I need to get my nails done. That's more important. So maybe I just go do that instead. Actually, yes, maybe I will go do that instead. Chevalier, we're leaving.
All right. So, yeah, obviously enough, with Drew not here, we're just going to hand wave a little bit and say that brotherly enthusiasm has been suitably addressed / calmed down. No one is getting hoofed over any wall. And when Drew gets back, we can figure things out from there.
Lucas, just go over there. Think about what you've done. No, I don't want to hear what you have to say.
Look,
Lucas, you're being hysterical. Go.
we had detailed discussions with Drew throughout the week, and he was pretty intent on trying to throw me into that wall. And so I'm gonna lobby for Drew in this moment and say he's gonna try and throw me over that wall unless one of you stops him.
Well, but that's the thing. I would totally use some kind of magic to stop him. So
Because I physically cannot. My mind is very definitely 0.
No, Mr. Edgewater, stop.
So
Having said that, I would also do something.
yeah, it's really hard to aim when there's a large warborg putting his hand over your face.
But that's the problem, right? Like with Lucas, would he aim or would he just throw? Does he need aim? Like that's the problem. That's the major problem we've had this whole week, where we're like, yeah, but Lucas isn't really going to do it, and Drew's like, oh, but he is. And we're like, but no, please.
But why, Lucas? Why?
Please, Lucas, don't do it.
So, yeah. Did the point of interest move for the house? No, that's where it was last week. Okay, I know what happened. If you had, okay. So sorry, I just saw a message in the Zoom chat. So if you early on, I had just dropped the pin on the map and then moved it over, and so if you had refreshed in between those 2 points, you would have had the wrong location.
Ah. Okay.
So that's what that is. No, that the current location is the correct location. It's that little corner there with the alleyway, backyard, little green space. And so the green space that you guys were at is the long, snaky one off to the side. So yeah, but and then yes, so yes, link problem. We need to get that. We need to get Muffin just got him. Muffin Manifesto's link just got knocked off there.
Oops, sorry, I was just trying to share the map.
No, absolutely not. I appreciate that. It's just unfortunate.
I think Chantel has permission. Yes.
I'm a mod. Yay!
Chantel.
Mod program.
No, just Chantel, all powerful, all knowing.
All powerful and all knowing. I know too much. Take it from me.
All right then, so you can have an int of 0 on your character sheet, and that'll fix that.
All of it, please. I need some of it. Some of the knowing.
So yes, so the idea is, so that is the correct location, is where that pin is now. The red blot. So the red blot, it turns out, only actually updates after I move it on my side. It doesn't, it's one of those little odd little quirks I put a feature request in with the World Animal Gang that they actually try and pull for, so if the GM moves the a draggable around, it shows up on everybody's screen, so people don't have to keep mashing the update button, but yeah, there we are. Anyway, so techie stuff aside, so that is yet where you guys are currently at, that bottom corner of the judiciary down there, all right? Any questions? Any questions about the neighborhood? Anything that's immediately around you? What have you?
Yes.
All right, go.
Is anyone watching this happen?
I think it's an excellent time for you to roll 2d6 and tell me if you roll any ones.
Oh no.
All of us, or all of us, or just Chantel?
I think all of you. Yeah.
I did not.
Okay. No.
I'm safe.
Jamie?
What's the question? Sorry.
2d6, please. Let me know if you roll any ones.
Oh, I missed that somehow. Did not. I rolled a 3 and a 4.
Very good. All right, so I was kind of actually hoping that Jamie would roll a 1, because then he'd have this great moment of him looking over the top being held in the air, looking at the groundskeeper who's in the process of watering a rose, looking at him. This would have been funny as hell, but okay, you're safe.
I'm really glad that didn't happen.
So as he works out, for whatever reason, if there's anybody paying attention there, you can't. They don't. No one is passing around the area. Keep in mind, you're literally in the back alley, if you will, between the buildings. So as I described last week, that sort of strip is the sort of the delivery space, if you will. That's where the servants, delivery folk, that sort of thing are going to be coming and going from. And so at this time of morning, you guys, mid-morning, I think. Mid-morning? I can't, hang on a second, what do my notes say here?
Fairly early when we started.
Yes, so it's...
So we had a pre-dawn meeting, so...
Yeah, it's the 4th.
Yeah.
It's early morning. So you might be at risk of, having someone who's dropping off a package to one of the other houses or something showing up. But for lack of a better way of putting it, all of the busy is on the street, not back here, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, if you were doing this on the other side of the house, you'd probably have someone staring at you quite perplexedly. But as it works out right now, there's no one around.
Game.
Okay.
Did you want us to roll something to stop Lucas?
So here's the thing, is because not interested in getting into opposed dice right now. If basically the players are, if all of the players are going to say, yeah, that's just not happening, then well, that's just not happening. We don't need to get into throwing dice at each other to sort that out. So
see, I'm more than happy to be thrown and work out what happens next. So
I'm also more than happy for you to be thrown. I just know that Alexandri would stop you. So it's the Chantel wants this, but Alexandri does not situation.
So
I
yeah,
do. I
because
definitely.
at the end of the day, like straight up, if Chevalier literally walks up in front, it walks in front of Lucas and just literally does the basketball position, that's the end of the discussion. So yeah. Lucas is tall, but with Spider over his head, Chevalier's still in the way. So that's pretty much the end of the discussion at that point.
it was just a theoretical idea. Please,
It's just sort of
Chevalier.
put the elf down. Order.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. Sorry. Well, that was undignified.
It's perfectly you.
I was just going to put the elf down. I was trying to, oh, yes, that's right. He's in disguise. I forgot.
That would have been really, really fun with Luke. I'm not carrying an elf.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
That's why he stopped. He didn't actually. He was like, "What? I'm not carrying a."
I think we have gathered as much information as we need to gather at this time. Perhaps we should go and get some breakfast, Lucas.
We've had breakfast, but
Did we have?
more is good. Yes.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
You
no, that's
unlocked.
right.
You opened up the kitchen for us.
Yes, Lucas.
That's right. I remember that
I
now.
guess.
Yes, Lucas will mutter something about second breakfast, and yes. So you folks are going to tromp back in the direction of where?
And you've cased the place as much as you want.
Well, yeah, I mean, when last session when I invoked my observant thing, Michelle, you said that the only thing that I would pick up is this wall is somehow enchanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, for lack of a better way of putting it, otherwise the place
It's
is pretty pedestrian. The thing that
Yeah.
really stood out for in terms of things that Spider would need to worry about, the fact that yes, it's a watch wall.
Right. No. So when we choose to do this and not boldly hurl ourselves at the task, I can shut down a section, whatever section you have deemed.
Yeah. Well, let's go find a quiet place, and I can tell you what I'm thinking.
Right. As I commented last session, essentially there's bistros and small pubs and things like that dotting the whole city. So it's not going to be even around the area of the judiciary. It's not going to be too hard to find a place you guys can sit quietly in a corner, have something to eat, and talk quietly amongst yourselves.
Do all the streets in this city, would they all be named as well?
Yes, they should actually be. I haven't worked out what most.
Obviously, I don't need you to name every single street, but would the alleyway behind the house have a name, or only the street in front of it?
If it's not paved, it doesn't have a name.
Okay. Then I would have marked down the name of the street that the house is on. I think that would have been in our dossier anyway, right?
It is. That's actually how you found it. That's sort of how you accidentally found the place.
Yeah, so when we... this is so hard to plan without Lucas. Well, while he's inside ordering us some food...
Yes.
Now that it's just the brains of the operation...
You're still here.
I mean, shots fired.
Yes, and so are you.
I was about to say that Alexandre got promoted because I think we'd already established that it's Chevalier and Spider.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude.
That's funny, Shell. That is funny, Shell.
I think our best shot at a distraction is if we get Knucklehead in there to call out Lancium.
Doesn't he want to kill Lucas?
He wants to fight him.
Doesn't that mean then that Lucas has to fight him?
Well, yes, that would be the distraction.
Yes, I understand.
If we get Lancium to meet Lucas in the alley behind the house for a gentleman's duel, then it wouldn't be particularly unlikely for one of them to, say, stumble into the seeing wall at the same time as we were to disable another section of the wall.
Do we know how to get in contact with Lancium?
I can't imagine it will be that difficult, to be honest. I'm sure
It'd
if
be difficult.
well, I'm sure if I gave word to Daba that Master Edgewater wished to meet in a dark alley, then
Why would it be a dark alley situation?
well, if Lancium wants an off-the-books duel, then he probably doesn't want it regulated by onlookers. The thing is, once you get me inside, Chevalier, you can go and rescue Lucas from whatever trouble he's getting himself into.
My thinking, given that there are 3 others apart who will, while you are inside, not need to be doing much, surely we can come up with a distraction that does not involve bringing someone who currently has a blood feud.
Well, yeah, I mean, we could simplify. Simple is good. Simple is good. Well, Alexandre, how about you just seduce one of the servants who works there? Because
sorry, what?
the easiest way in is through that servant's back entrance.
I'm sorry, what?
If Chevalier... mind out of the gutter, please. If Chevalier can get me over the wall, I needed a way out. And so if you happen to be able to keep one of the servant's door entrance open for me just a little longer by plying your charms on someone making their way in and out for the night shift, then... Okay, just an idea.
I'm sorry, what?
You don't have to-
Lying my charms.
Yes, like you did with the captains on the docks.
It's a very undignified way to say things like that.
Well, I'm a very undignified person.
I've noticed.
I was thinking the information we were given suggested there was just one guard at night, is presumably to keep an eye on the wall.
Presumably.
So really all we need to do is distract that one person.
Okay,
Then
well,
don't get caught.
what about a false lover's tiff between...
That was what I was thinking.
See, this is why we're the brains of the operation.
I feel like if there was a couple of large men quite agitated that a member of the household had made promises that they did not seem to keep, or had said things that were untoward about this lovely lady, and that we wish to make a problem of it, the guard would have to come and deal with that. And of course, in the end, if we need to leave, well, there are so many houses. Sometimes you just get the wrong one.
That's a good plan. I still need you to deactivate the wall just in case there's more than one of them inside.
Not a problem. We do that first.
I think I can come up with my own exit. That should be all right.
Are you sure?
The rooftop shouldn't be too bad.
But if the wall's watching from the outside, is it not going to be watching from the inside?
There would be an area that it would notice
The roof
bubbling out
is
from the wall.
plenty high above the walls. I'll make my own exit from there. I think it should be all right.
It is also only as good as the person watching. So if we find there is
That's
only
true.
one,
If you can keep him distracted long enough, then... we should establish a what's the word? This is just Jamie blanking, not Spider, not code. What's like a whistle thing to say, hey, I've done the thing.
A signal.
Huh? A signal, thank you, yeah. We should work out a signal then that I can let you know when the job is done. You seemed fairly up to scratch on bird calls.
Are you?
I can whistle, so if you can teach me something, Chevalier.
Can Chevalier whistle?
Chevalier suddenly turned into R2D2.
comes out from like the middle of his chest, though.
Or it's just a steam train?
Just forms.
Oh, that's amazing.
He was like,
Can you whistle, Chevalier?
I think we joked before. It was like, because if he could blow out candles, and it's like, well, clearly he can move air because he can talk, but it's just this sort of like, it's like trying to blow out a candle with a subwoofer. Like, blow out the candle.
What does it sound like when a subwoofer whistles?
Did you used to use something with your team in Shining Capital? A signal then?
Michelle, maybe you can help me with some sort of appropriate bird or animal noise from the capital.
Yeah, so the problem is that the Shining Capital, particularly the docks and warehouses, the sorts of places that running a gang is conducive to, are exactly the sort of thing where the primary wildlife would be, rats.
Yeah.
And so, rats, seagulls, So I suppose you could do a seagull and just, but... That would just sound really awkward here, right?
Yeah.
Hello, Stephen. I'll let myself out.
That's deceptive.
So the problem is most of the if you will, most of the clapping signals or things like that, stuff that sort of carries at the bottom edge of hearing in a crowd because nature noises don't work. The chirp of a mourning dove in the dock district is about as obvious as a coal pile in a ballroom. I mean, it just does not.
Yeah, well, I think then I'd like I'd try and do like a owl hoot sort of thing, I think, is probably most appropriate, given we're going to try and go at this at night.
Mm-hmm.
What about, hey, you, you, over there, you guy.
I'm just going to throw my voice.
It might be an idea as well, in case to have, well, it might not be entirely necessary, but something in case things go horribly wrong and you need us to, well, head in as well.
Well, certainly if you hear me swearing, that's probably a good sign that things are bad.
That was something that occurred to me just as I was making the suggestion.
Yeah.
But if you need help, how are we supposed to get to you?
Quickly.
Chevalier.
Something not helping.
We don't just walk through the door.
That would certainly be a last resort, yes, but not out of the realm of possibility.
If we are causing a disruption at the gate and suddenly something happens, both the guard will notice as well. Then simply we could just push through, even arguing that we were done talking to the guard and wanted to get inside ourselves.
Yeah, the trick is we don't want this distraction to wake up the people who are sleeping in the house unless we get to that stage, so...
Oh, I mean only in the event of something has gone very, very wrong and we have heard you calling out for help.
All right. Well,
in other cases, we simply just need him there for, well, them there for, well, so they do not see you leave.
Are we all decided on this plan then?
We should probably wait for Lucas to get back.
Are we all decided on this plan then?
This seems fine.
It works.
Because I think Lucas is coming back with our flatbread just now.
Lucas is in fact here with the flatbread right now.
Excellent. All right then. So how about we take a break and get Lucas into the inn so you can all enjoy your flatbread.
Delicious flatbread.
Flatbread for everybody. All right. As opposed to flat tires, which is what this monologue sounds like. All right. So. So we'll be right back, folks. We're going to take a quick break, get Drew on into the game, and probably rehash everything you've just listened to us because I know Drew's got opinions. So we'll be right back.
And look who's here.
Indeed, Lucas.
It's you.
It's
yeah.
me. Very much him. Yes.
I feel so special.
Glad you could join us, Drew. Thank you.
I'm so glad to be here.
Excellent.
I was listening again to you all in the car, and I think Lucas, this is a great time for Lucas to enter holding 2 breakfast burritos, saying, what did I miss?
Chevalier has come up with a cunning plan.
And?
We are going to follow it.
And you want to tell
And
me
you
what
don't have to pretend to be anybody else, which is my favorite part of the plan.
You do you.
We need to create, once Mr. Kilcare is inside, we were thinking of ways that we could cause some kind of distraction. We considered having your friend Lancium be called out for a duel, but obviously that means calling Lancium out for a duel. And while we thought it'd be better to have less unknowns, I guess. So the decision is that we are going to pretend to have someone in the household has given some kind of offense to Alexandre, and we are here to cause a commotion about it, essentially. In the event of something going horribly wrong and we need to get in, we will be in position to do so. Or, as much more likely, once Mr. Kilcare is done, we simply leave and make up some excuse, possibly that we realized we have the wrong house, and feel sheepish and leave.
Has someone given Alexandria offense?
No, it will be a lie. We will just be... Essentially, it will be a matter of not so much getting them to believe that this has happened, but more being loud and indignant and very present, so that they have to deal with us and not the breaking in.
Loud, indignant, and present.
Exactly would offend me.
That is... Well, Chevalier, Alexandre, Jasper, you have your man.
What?
If you want someone to be loud, indignant, and present.
You know what? Yes. That is a fair assessment of your abilities.
So when are we going to offend Alexandre?
I'm sorry, what?
I'm starting to think I might need to be the one who does the talking.
No. The person inside the house offended Alexandre.
What did they say?
Oh, well, Lucas, it doesn't bear repeating in polite company.
Yes, how about I do the talking and you look stern? And some slightly menacing.
look stern?
Not too much menacing. Noble sternness and with purpose.
Why would you look stern?
Because it's a serious matter.
But why would he look stern?
Because he also thinks it's a serious matter.
We all look
And it also means he will.
I think I have to also look stern.
You might need to look upset. You
can
also
be
might
upset.
need to...
Just imagine you just had a conversation with our sister.
Yes. Imagine that the way we handled that was that we had gone over to their place and demanded an apology.
What exactly did our sister say to you, Alexandre?
Doesn't matter.
She said it doesn't matter.
Lucas, it doesn't matter.
Okay. I'm going to leave that, Alexandre. It clearly does matter, but I'm not going to push that button.
Good idea.
Let's go cause a ruckus.
As
Are we doing that now?
As
GM,
not
the narrator will remind everyone it's just about 9 o'clock in the morning.
We're going to do it after dark when there will be less guards at the estate.
Oh, that's
Far
sensible.
too early to be angry. It's 9 a.m.
Yeah, that way
Fine.
no one will see us.
Exactly. And Lucas, you know Eleonora, I'm sure she said whatever it took to make Alexandre angry. That's how she is. Which means we have the rest of the day to ourselves. Is there anything anyone wants to get up to that won't cause a crash of bounty men to come charging after us?
Well, I've got about 10 breakfast burritos to get through.
It's an army decathlon, I believe.
They had a deal on. It was
Buy one, get 10 free? What?
every 2 you bought, you got entered into a raffle.
If you can finish all 10 in under an hour, you get...
Exactly. I mean, the chance of winning a pig.
Why do you need a pig?
Well, it was
to replace you in case you get murdered.
I'm sorry, replace who?
I mean, I feel like it's kind of insulting to anyone.
Yes,
Matter who-
I'm just checking whether it's insulting to me.
I'm just getting you into character.
I don't want to be in character at 9 a.m.
Look, I haven't actually won the pig yet.
Is that being drawn before we leave?
Yeah, this afternoon.
Well, I guess we can stop back.
What are you going to do with a pig, Lucas?
What? I saw an opportunity and I took it.
Maybe he's going to ride it, like the battle goat.
No, it's too small for that.
How do you know what kind of pig it is? Maybe it's a battle pig.
Well, that's ridiculous. Battle pigs come from a completely different part of the world.
Don't know how good this is.
Anime style cutscene. Just Chevalier. Everyone looking at Chevalier.
Yeah. Yeah, the Giant Kin Empire, renowned for their like porcine cavalry.
So I believe they're called battle boars, though.
No, they're very pink, just large enough for a giant to ride.
Oh.
Why don't we leave this entire conversation and wait, did we get the address of that safe house
No,
from Aquidian? No.
No, by definition,
That's
all of that hinges
Upon completion.
All of that, it's on
hinges on
completion.
you people not screwing this up and then not flapping your gums about it while drunk.
Oh, man. That's...
slowly puts down wine.
Yeah, I know, right? This glass I had, let's just put that down.
I'm just there goes Spider. Yeah.
I was thinking if we want to, unless we have something else we need to do, we could stay in the more central parts of town where bounty hunters would likely stick out more and are less likely to do anything.
Don't suppose I can convince you to hole up in the inn that we're staying in and not do anything crazy.
I don't plan on doing anything crazy, but I do need to find somewhere to do my nails. That's not crazy, that's just my nails.
Right.
And it's got to be somewhere nice, so we have to go to the nicer part of town to do that.
Very well. Then I will stay disguised as I am for now.
I also need to buy some underwear.
I'm sorry, what?
That doesn't surprise me at all.
Why? I mean, not
need some
why,
underwear.
but why do we need to know that?
Well, aren't we telling everyone what we want to do? I'm just sharing. I mean, I'd prefer to go to the nice part of town for my underwear as well.
I guess we have 2 stops then.
We have to stay there and watch you.
No.
No, you can,
No. Why
you
would
can get your nails done while I go underwear shopping.
I like that idea.
What? Oh dear.
Shopping montage.
Just going to
Oh, I just realized. Oh no, what have we done?
It's funny. It's funny. I know Jamie's the one who's been into the tequila, and Drew's the one who's sober, and yet.
Drew doesn't need alcohol. Come on. Though I am kind of imagining it's when you do like shopping montages in movies.
Yes.
Except because it's underwear, it's just Lucas every now and again just jumping out in underwear, going yeah, and everyone going, why? Stop doing that. Not the kind of store this is. Like, yes, no, what? Oh.
So you folk will be up in this rough area. As I say, so the entire city, of course, is got dozens of shops and what have you, littered through all of the various districts. About the only place that you can basically say that isn't selling something explicitly is the area around the temples and stuff. Other than that, the rest of the play, everything is sort of mixed in. There are different districts are more known for particular things, but outside of the Sinru quarter and the Gavernois quarter, just about everywhere else is sort of got a mixture of goods, shops, services, blended into what the primary job of the area is. So, but the bulk of the shopping, if you will, if you're not going to be down around the caravan docks, basically directly talking to the vendors who've brought stuff in, or everything that sort of comes in via ship heads to the warehouses, and then because it's caravan season, basically gets dragged immediately over into the caravan areas to be traded to the various comings and goings. But all of that stuff, unless you're interested in basically buying 450 pounds of underwear to go, you're probably looking for one of the shops in the to the north of the well, because that's the sort of like just. Clothing by the bale, food by the bale, perfumes by the bale. That's
When your underwear is by weight, that's the problem.
That's how they get you, because it's much more expensive to buy soiled underwear.
We didn't need that, thanks.
Yeah.
Y fronts, get your Y fronts.
So you basically wind up strolling up towards the northern to the northern end of the city. Again, it's very obvious where the new town, as it were, starts and stops. The very nicely straight linear streets, the tight curves, very obviously done with a protractor, that sort of thing, versus this area, which just seems to have been, the street layout was either alternately inspired by a snake or a wandering goat, and you're not sure which.
I'm definitely not interested at all in these shops. I'm just keeping an eye out for anyone who might be trailing us or is obviously
Doing a similar thing.
Scoping us out. So.
Yeah, so there's a lot of people out. As I've said before, because of the season and everything else, the place is just busy. I guess the other thing, obviously, is that it's busy, but you guys, and you've been told this is abnormally busy, but because you've never been here before, you don't have a frame of reference other than Shining Capital. And yeah, this would be a pretty busy market day in Shining Capital, I guess would be probably the best way of comparing it. No problem at all with anybody basically being able to find any sort of shop they might be looking for, clothing, perfumes, accoutrements. See, Alexandria will even be able to find some place to get her look refreshed, if you will. So
Thank you.
Can I can imagine that while she's getting her nails done, we just kind of slide right, and Chevalier's there getting his nails done.
Yeah, the difference is what she's getting hers done with a nail file. He's getting his done with a steel file. Yeah, yeah.
This,
There's a person with like an angle grinder and like a welder's mask, just like leaning into it.
Cucumbers over the eyes. While there, I would like to. I'd like to just sort of casually talk to the people that are, doing my nails and just sort of see what they think of the area, because obviously I'm not from here. So, and they would, I'm sure something about me would tell them that. So.
Well, yeah. First off,
The question, what do you think about this area?
well, not. I'm just going to say. Well, the other thing too is that at the end of the day, they probably know most of their clientele. So walk-ins are immediately odd ducks. So yeah, that will just straight up prompt the conversation. So don't recognize you, where are you from? The usual chit chat that goes into ensuring that whoever it is that's doing the talking actually gets a decent tip. So
Yes.
yeah. Okay. Are you just looking for anything in particular, or just making chat?
Making chat, but I'm aiming to find out whether or not they like it here, whether they're happy,
All right.
whether and what their view is of Shining Capital.
Sure. Go ahead and make a perception roll then. Over the course of a half an hour or so of getting your look refreshed.
So that was a nat 1, but the D4 has exploded. So give me a second.
Ooh, okay.
10 all up.
Wow, not a bad. Okay. Well, a 10's a 10. So just one sec here. So you're chatting with one sec here. Female halfling that you're chatting with. She's quite talented, very, very amenable, or very, very chatty, right up until you bring up Shining Capital. For lack of a better way of putting it, immediately adopts a scowl. She said, and it is very, not quite snarky, not quite very bitter. I take it you're not from around here then, she says.
No.
Yeah, she actually busies herself messing around with takes a moment and busies herself with straightening up her workspace, under the, not wanting things to be untidy while she's working, as it were. And will comment, and without really saying much more, but yet still managing to convey an awful lot, she said, yeah, lost me mum in the Great Fire.
I'm sorry.
And that's my opinion of Shining Capital, she says, and turns around and goes back to doing, back to working on your look. Sort of implicit in the statement is that she blames the Confederacy for the fire. Sort of, that's if that wasn't obvious. And that was something, as I say, when you guys had done the research on had discovered the information about the fire, there seemed to be two conflicting stories about what happened. One was that it was set by loyalists and got out of hand in an act of essentially terrorism, and then the other was that it was set by Confederate troops in an attempt to flush out terrorists, and got out of hand. But either way, burnt something like 20% of the city in a night.
It's hard to come back from that one.
Yeah. So you rolled a 10, but there was a 1 in there. So yeah. That's so that's that awkward one.
That's the awkward one. It's the loneliest number. I will tip well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I think at some point, like, I would try to just have like a quiet word with Lucas.
Sure. Go ahead.
Chevalier, I'm in my underwear.
I thought you were done. I'm sorry. I'll be outside. You just...
No. If you're fine with it, I'm fine with it. It's no problem.
I will wait outside. We can talk. It's just a curtain. I don't need to be.
Yeah, I'm going to put on my clothes.
You're just like, you're done, right? I can just come in. really got me. All right.
Yeah, eventually Lucas puts on his everything and goes outside. So, Chevalier.
I wanted to ask, I noticed this morning after the meeting that we had with Aquidian, your behavior seemed somewhat odd. And I just wanted to ask, Mr. Edgewater, is everything okay?
Everything's fine.
Okay. I understand that what we are doing is, well, it can be difficult with the danger, the constant worry. And
Of course.
I get the desire to keep someone you care about safe and the worry that that can cause. I was concerned, given our previous conversation after the tournament, that you were potentially, I guess, overcorrecting, as it were. I mean, you tried to throw your brother over a security wall.
Well, he wanted to get in.
Yes. You also were trying to insist that we all go on a mission that required the utmost stealth and ideally just one person.
Mm-hmm. And only he was going to go in there.
Yes. All I wanted to say, I wanted to just check that you were okay, Mr. Edgewater.
I appreciate your concern. I do. And whether or not you believe that I am of sound mind when it comes to what we have in store before us or what we decide to do, I trust you. I trust my brother. I trust Alexandre. As far as I was concerned, we were ready to go in. Now, I might have been wrong. Yes, you talked me out of it. Yes. My brother screamed for help, like a little whiny pig. Still, whatever we come across, I believe that we can do this.
I was not doubting your sanity, Mr. Edgewater.
Well, it seems very much like you are.
Then I apologize. It was not my intention. I was merely trying to indicate that I understand the pressures of having someone you care about that you wish to protect. I understand that I understand the mental toll. And I was suggesting that if you wished, I could talk, you could talk to me about it if you needed to talk to someone who understood what that was like. But if it is not a problem, and that you are okay, then I do not have a problem either. I appreciate your enthusiasm. I appreciate your trust in everybody's ability. Now, perhaps it was hasty, but you stopped when asked. I am not here to chastise you, Mr. Edgewater. And if that is the impression, then I again apologize. I'll let you back to your shopping.
Chevalier, I know you don't trust me. But maybe.
Mr. Edgewater, if I did not trust you, I would not have left Alexandre in your care.
Chevalier. You're right. I'm sorry for causing any concern.
It is fine, Mr. Edgewater. We are all trying to look out for each other. We are all now in this together. I would not say that we are necessarily close. And I would not, in terms of trust, trust is not a binary thing. I trust in your ability. I trust in your intention. And I trust in your heart. And yes, I got angry and chastised you for your mistake. But it was just one mistake. It does not ultimately spoil anything, so long as we learn from it and move forward. Then it is merely a learning experience. It only becomes truly a mistake if there is no learning, if there is no correction.
Chevalier, do you feel that you've learned everything?
No. I can't imagine. I can't imagine how long it would take. I can't imagine there being a point where that would be something I would consider.
We are in this together, Chevalier. You're right. And I have much to learn. So does my brother. And so does Alexandre. And so do you. Perhaps there is something that my brother and I can teach you.
Oh, I have no doubt.
I appreciate your concern. I do. And please, when I lose my way, I know that there will be a point when I need people to pull me back on track. But, and this is a little but, Chevalier, lighten up. Live a little.
I realize I can be difficult to read. My tone and my features are not the most expressive. But I will let you in a little secret, Mr. Edgewater. I live in a constant state of wonder and awe. Every day is amazing. Every day is incredible. And while I may not have features that express my wide-eyed wonderment, know that I am feeling it.
I put my arm on his shoulder. I pat it and says, "Great. Wonderful. Good to know. Now, hopefully, please, I would love for your opinion on this pair of briefs. I don't know which one to pick."
And I think that's where we're going to scene segue right there.
Perfection.
So, what next? Spend the day. Essentially, do you want to waste the day away until dusk, or do you have anything you folks want to do in the meantime? It's
Once these,
I'm just gonna say, at worst, it's 10:30 in the morning by this point. You know, strolling uptown, half an hour, shopping, getting nails done. You know, improving.
11.
It's not really getting your.
It's at least 11.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, but even that, you still got. What, 6 hours before sunset?
yeah, once these guys, once the gang is all done doing anything that could potentially get them into serious trouble.
Right.
I want us to head back to the inn so that I can just pore over every detail of this dossier and work out my best path in and out of the house. Mm-hmm. You know, do the full Ocean's 11 on this thing for myself.
Yeah, sure.
If we're going with the Ocean's 11 thing, then I'm definitely Brad Pitt and eating in every scene.
I mean,
Lucas
that's true anyway, I think.
Lucas is collecting bits and pieces of cuisine from the street. And he's hoarding it all pretty much to take back home and just eat all afternoon.
All right. So just to
Like a scene with Jasper's poring over maps and going over stuff, and it just cuts to Chevalier and Lucas, and it's got a flow chart trying to explain that the offense is pretend.
Yes.
And every now and again, he sort of starts to stop and then just goes back along the flow chart and goes, here.
This totally reminds me of that amazing sketch by Big Train, which is a engineer explaining to the governor of the UK a train that's going to go from London to Edinburgh, but he's using toy trains, and she just cannot visualize them as actual trains, and she's like dealing with like the space of London to Edinburgh on this map is like a couple of seconds. She's like, oh my god, that's only a fraction of a second. That's like the fastest train. It's like a giant pushing the trains.
These trains for ants?
Yeah. Anyway, I imagine a lot of Lucas is like, this scale model is like, but the house is a lot bigger than this.
Alexandri gives up on that and will spend time with this rose.
All right.
Oh yeah, the fancy rose. That's cool.
Without knowing what else magic something things, she's gonna listen to it to see if it exudes anything that is similar to the wall watching or the wall watching or the song singing.
Is there a sense of magic about this rose? Interesting question. I will. Ask you to roll. Actually, sorry, never mind. I keep forgetting that the way Open Legend works is if the answer is no, don't roll. So no, there's nothing magical about it at all. It's sorry, I'm just so used to the D&D mindset where if a player asks a skill question, you force a skill roll regardless. But Open Legend doesn't work that way. So yeah, so it's merely beautiful.
It smells like pretty.
Yes, it's this. Please understand that Alexandria has grown up in a world of rose gardens. She's she's grown up in a world of topiary. She's grown up in a world of dovecotes and duck ponds. Where the ducks were actually swans because ducks are so passé. They were, so
yes. Fashionable ducks are swans.
Yes, and so, of course it's beautiful. Of course it smells wonderful. What else would it be?
But the concept of black rose. That's what's new.
Yeah, and I think that's probably really what the crux of it is. It's this, like I say, it's this deep night sky studded with stars is sort of the visual impression when you're looking at this. It's like gazing up into the night sky.
Okay.
But there's nothing inherently magical about it. It looks to be completely natural.
In that case, I would like to cast a boon.
All right.
And see if I can create, using Genesis, another one.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so how's that work? Explain.
So the way Genesis works is you create something from nothing. Depending on the power of your invocation, you are able to manifest a wide array of materials from temporary vegetable matter to permanent crafted goods of remarkable complexity.
All right.
I would like to create a permanent, almost identical rose.
Sure. So is this a skill rolls required versus the power level, yes?
Yes.
All right. Go ahead and give it a go. A 2.
A 22.
A 22. Oh, that's a much different answer. I'm just going to.
Yes. 22.
Yeah, I'm just gonna, a 2 will get you a petal that shrivels on arrival. But
I don't think it's possible on 2d6 and a d20 to roll a 2.
I had a moment of like, it's like, wow, that's a terrible roll. Wait a second.
Hang on, how?
yeah, 22. That's actually a remarkably good roll in point of fact. Yes, you will. That's a 20 is a quote heroic outcome. So yes, you absolutely have a beautiful, subtly different yet otherwise identical rose.
Pleased with myself, for it is something I've not done before.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically what she's spending her time doing. So if that works, she's just going to start seeing if she can create doubles of other things that just are in the room. So just randomly extras of things might turn up.
So at some point in time, there'll be a moment where Chevalier opens the door, and you can see and Alexandre will be there embarrassedly trying to figure out what to do with the other bed.
Yeah, so there's that, but also, see, I actually imagine she's just in the room with everyone else. So like, Lucas is about to pick up his last breakfast burrito, and then another one just appears.
Wait, I thought...
If that happens,
Suddenly,
You're gaslighting Lucas's breakfast.
Alexandre, we're going to do an experiment.
What?
I'm going to taste the burrito. How does the burrito taste? The mimicked.
Okay. Let's get you to do another die roll then, just for the amusement value of whether or not you accidentally season it with Tabasco sauce.
That's a 7.
Kind of cardboardish. Is yeah, because 10 would be an average outcome, right? So yeah, a 7. It's clearly food. It's just bland compared to the other ones. I think is probably the. I guess 7's not a big miss.
I mean, I'm also using the wrong spell for it, so I don't expect that would be the case.
Yeah, I guess the best. Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, probably a bit bland. Yeah, visually looks the same. Yeah, different. It's almost like she forgot the spices. Yeah.
I think.
To be fair, I didn't eat it, so I don't know what it tastes like.
Yeah.
That's a guess.
I definitely will take a bite out of both. I'll be like, different. Same texture, but the flavor.
Started.
Well, I mean, it's close enough.
What does that mean?
I'll definitely eat it.
The breakfast burritos were awful this whole time. You've actually done it perfectly.
No different to what it was before.
It's like, yeah, but yours has more sauce now, and it's weird.
I'm like, I was like, Alexandre, with your talent, we won't have to spend money on food ever again.
Can I have a bite?
Of course, here you go.
That's awful. It tastes like cardboard. Why would you buy that?
It's a burrito.
All right, now try the one Alexandre made.
Why is Alexandre making burritos?
You can never have too many burritos, Jasper.
Sponsored by Old El Paso.
Lucas turns towards some random camera and just like...
Wait, is that why they're following us?
Oh my goodness.
I just agreed to this.
Sorry, I just had a Britannia flashback.
This is how they keep finding us, Lucas.
Alexander, surely there is something more useful you could be doing for the group than cooking.
I'm not cooking. I didn't cook this. I don't know how to cook.
Well, I mean, that's clear enough from the flavor.
Well, I didn't cook it, so
Then why?
I made it.
Lucas, you just... What do you mean?
Mr. Kilcare, and just sort of gestures around the room at all the duplicates.
Huh.
Jasper, it's magic.
How permanent are these? I just like go and pick up the second rose.
That one's permanent.
It's not gonna like fall apart if I wiggle it too much.
I mean, if you wiggle around the original rose, it will fall apart. This is the same.
Very interesting.
Now, Spider has a sufficiently high perception that just sort of by default, he can tell that it's actually not, the second one is actually not a duplicate. It's inspired by the original, but there are subtle differences in the curve of the leaves and things like that. Then perhaps there's a leaf that's in a slightly different position. So she hasn't just Xeroxed it, if you will. It's actually
she's made
a new
it.
rose.
And like what other things have you duplicated in the room?
What else will be in the room? There'd probably be an extra candle sitting on a table. But those would be identical. The rose is the only one that
Yeah.
she tried to change. The burrito was just look at a burrito and copy it.
Remind me, Michelle, what currency looks like in our setting?
Yeah, that's a fancy question, isn't it? I was just going to say, so generally speaking, the Confederacy runs on gold marks. Now, what's fascinating about this, and Spider's larcenous mind has already dove into the appropriate. The reality is that almost every major city in the Confederacy has a mint. It's usually in the gouverneurs area, and the reason for that is, well, because bluntly, shipping bales of coins around is impractical. You've no idea what your local economy is doing. So shipping convoys of coins around. So what they tend to do is ship. It's a gold alloy they use, because otherwise the gold would get you'd beat the hell out of the coins to the point they were unusable because gold is soft. So they use a hardened alloy of some kind that then is impact die stamped to create the coins. And yes, Spider's larcenous little mind, I mean, but hang on a second, she can basically mass produce any coin she sees. Yes.
Yeah, so I like pull out a coin and like flick it in the air and grab it midair and I say, "Can you do anything?"
Don't think so.
A coin.
I can try.
Yeah. So is with Genesis, is that, does it have
I
to be
cannot do that.
I
have to. Well, no, it doesn't have to be alive.
Okay.
But that is too high a level, a power level for me to duplicate money at this point, and I can't make anything. Like I couldn't, even at power level 7, it can't be greater than a wealth level 2.
Gotcha.
Yeah, right.
So I can't. Alexandria would just say I can try, and it would probably come out being not
like
that at all.
That at all coin, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just wouldn't look
And he
right.
just like runs the coin over his fingers and he says, "Well, keep at it, sunshine," and flicks it back into his coin. Goes back to studying the dossier.
Why would I copy money?
Lucas,
He's back in his books.
All right.
Lucas pulls out one of his new pairs of underwear.
Wait a second.
Can you replicate this?
I want to replicate that using sentient music.
Why not?
I made the burrito because I was testing.
Well, here's another test.
I don't know how I feel about using a sacred piece of music to make you underwear.
You made a rose.
Yes.
You made a bed.
Yes.
You don't want to make underwear.
I don't understand why this is so difficult for you.
It's just another object. It's fine. You don't have to.
It's an object you're going to put on your...
Well, a bed you sleep in, a burrito you eat, a rose you wear. Or put in
Wear a
vase.
rose? Oh.
It's okay, Alexandra. You don't have to. And he puts it away. Clearly sad.
She waits until he turns around and then makes one. So then it's just folded on the bed.
So, on the extra bed, yes.
On the extra bed.
Now, at this point in time, she's been messing around with the song semi-regularly now for several minutes. I mean, the scene has taken a little while. So there's this thing, of course, when she's doing this, the song is just sort of floating around when she's waving her hands or doing her thinking or her concentrating, and then as soon as she stops focusing, it goes away. Perhaps oddly, at this exact moment, it doesn't go away. In point of fact, it starts getting louder. And it goes from being harp music to punk electric guitar to the sound of a screaming jet engine. It's that sort of intensity that whacks you across the inside of the skull, because that's where you're hearing it. And then, kind of with the calamity of either a thunderclap or a broken harp string, stops. And at that point, I actually need Spider to make a couple of die rolls.
Okay.
Did everyone hear this?
We'll deal with that in just a moment. I'm looking up a stat real fast. I think it's essentially a resist. I need you to...
Probably will.
Yeah, I think a will.
That's like the most resisty of the stats.
Yep, I think that is... I will need you to make a will roll followed by probably... I think... yeah, a will... start with a will roll, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. 14.
14. Okay. So, for lack of a better way of explaining it... Remember that weird moment back at the mill where Alexandria suddenly melted the wall and you could all see the blacksmith shop?
Far too vividly.
Yes, well, speaking of far too vividly, how about all of you being up to your elbows in a swift-moving, muddy, torrential rainfall river, and Spider immediately having his legs pulled out from under him. And then I would need Spider to immediately make a fortitude check. Just bang. Suddenly, you are standing in the Mississippi River at spring flood, literally up to your elbows, and Spider goes under.
Yeah, okay. Fortitude, not also my strong point. Let me find me a d4.
Yeah.
That's not bad. That's a 22.
All right.
Oh, wait, and the d4s explode, so
Yes.
24.
Wow, all right, so you're not drowning. That's a relief. I need Lucas to please make a protection roll.
A what roll?
Protection.
Oh, I'm good with protection. Okay. Let me find the dice. Here we go.
I'm sorry, what?
What?
/ awkward.
I didn't get it.
Protection is an extraordinary ability that I do not believe Lucas has shown any
Oh, I see.
Now.
ability in.
I see.
That's a 21.
21. All right. For lack of a better way of explaining the sensation, it's almost like your mechanical leg tried to fall off. It's almost as if it was going to evaporate for a moment, just simply stop being. And you actually started to feel that sensation of toppling over on the unsupported leg, and then it didn't.
Okay.
So I just, for those of you who've missed the moment, you're all standing up to your elbows in muddy, fast swirling water. There's a torrential rainfall pouring down, and you can't find Spider suddenly. So what are you all doing? I'm curious.
Are we still in the room, or are we in an entirely different loop?
You can't see a room. You're probably. It looks to be. It's like as though for some reason you were suddenly crossing a river.
And we're up to are we up to elbows in that like treading water, or are we up to elbows because standing on ground?
Okay, so all of your feet were touching the ground except Spider, whose feet were just pulled out from under him by the
Right, yeah.
force of the torrent.
I will stride towards the flailing. Well, you rolled quite well, so the
Yeah. Well, no, he's not drowned.
powerfully treading water.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I'm going straight towards where Jasper is.
Because for all that I rolled fairly well, I think Jasper starts panicking and is like losing it. So
No, it's non-negotiable. Lucas goes for Jasper.
Are all? Is it just is all four of us there, or is it
All four of you.
okay? How is Alexandre doing?
There's trees. There's a muddy banks, clay. This heavy clay with some boulder field. There's trees on either side. You're clearly out in the middle of a countryside somewhere, which is really awkward because you were pretty sure you were in the second-story room of an inn just a moment before this. You don't remember it raining there either. But there's this sheeting rain. It's raining so hard that it's bouncing off of the terrain around, basically causing a mist that is obscuring vision beyond maybe a stone's throw in any given direction. You've no idea where you are. Lucas, go ahead. Actually, Lucas, go ahead and make a learning roll.
What roll?
Learning.
I'm learning.
Does Lucas look
Sam-
like he's got
What's
this?
Chevalier doing?
Does Lucas does it look like Lucas has the thing with like how is Alexandre doing? And does Lucas look like he's got everything in hand?
Excellent questions. How is Alexandre doing?
Alexandre is panicking.
Excellent. So that answers that
Right.
question. And Luke,
What I'm going to do.
what was Lucas's learning roll?
A 17.
So you've actually recognized this spot. You were here a long time ago.
Okay, I'm going straight for.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, no, there's a complete determination on Lucas's face, and he knows exactly where. It's almost like he knows what to do. He's going to dive under, grab Jasper.
yeah, I think like Jasper's just in complete shock and panic and is yelling for Lucas to help, and it's like a voice that we haven't heard from Jasper much. It's sort of like a high piping sort of voice of panic. Lucas, help me, please.
Yeah, I just going for diving in the water, swimming down.
So that's the scene around Chevalier. What's Chevalier doing?
I am going to try to put the sustenance boon on both Alexandre and Jasper.
What does it do?
Well, it makes a person unaffected by a chosen type of hostile climate.
Right.
It's usually like heat, cold, radiation, or I'm going to go with rushing water.
Okay, then you seem to have that I would consider muddy, silted spring rushing water a hostile environment. Yeah, I'd call that. Yeah.
Which power level do you have? Out of interest.
I have 3.
Okay.
So it's all that is all I can do is the one is the hostile environment type.
All right. Let's see a really big number. Be heroic.
Ooh, hello. So that is an 18.
That's more than enough.
Which was mostly from the D20, but
Yes.
yeah.
So suddenly, regardless of circumstance, Jasper will be able to breathe easier, as will Alexandri. I mean, you're still both in risk of getting the legs tugged out from under you in this torrent of water tearing down this river. It's very obvious that you can just sort of see by looking around Chevalier that this river is within a couple of dozen centimeters of actually overflowing its banks. It's obviously a spring flood that's swept through the area with the rain.
So essentially what it would look like is it's 2 of the little drones sort of come out, and they each position themselves in front of, well, in the path of the river for both of them, and then they sort of split into smaller ones. And they basically form a kind of like a wedge, essentially, so that the water has to go around them, and they're not getting pummeled, essentially.
Okay. What's going on in Lucas's head right now?
Not again. Yeah, it just be faster, stronger, get there.
All right.
Get to Jasper.
All right. It's like moving through setting concrete is the sensation around your legs. It's as though there's this sense that you're going to be too late no matter what you do. I will allow you to decide whether or not you would prefer to roll a test on either agility, fortitude, or might. This is brute force. This is some variation of physically pushing yourself through the water to get there before it's too late.
Look, play to your strengths. It's got to be might.
Roll it.
Uh, 21.
So the wedges of magical protection appear, the stream flow parts around Spider and around Alexandri. Alexandri is painfully aware of an absolute absence of the chanson. Lucas dives into the water, grabs his faltering brother by the shoulders, and it's like flicking a light switch. You're suddenly all back in the room. It would actually be hard to believe that any of this had happened, except for the fact that Spider is covered head to toe in muddy water.
It's okay, I'll wake up soon. I'm
going to go over to Jasper, and...
You've still got him by the shoulders.
I still got him.
So everything, it's like, it literally is as though someone had just literally changed the scene. The actors are all in the same positions. The difference is you're all, the only incongruity about the entire moment is the fact that, unlike beforehand, Spider Jasper is still covered head to toe, dripping in muddy water.
I'm gonna hug Jasper and say it's okay. It's gonna be okay.
And he's just like shivering and can't even open his eyes. It's just like, I'll wake up soon.
Yes, you will. You will. I'm here. It's Lucas. I'm here.
And yeah, I think as Spider realizes where he is, he's gonna like just tear off pull off the sodden shirt, and we just see as he does all the scars on his body and under his tattoos.
You're okay, Jasper.
Why is my shirt wet? Did I fall asleep?
I don't know. I don't know what that was.
You were there, and he looks at Chevalier and Alexandre.
Yes.
You're not there. How are we here?
I don't know. But you're okay now.
I've changed my mind, Alexa. Don't keep trying that, whatever it was. I need some rest before tonight.
Sort of realize that the little drone's still following him.
Yes. We're going to take a break.
These two sets and there's someone back, yeah.
Yeah. We're going to take a break. And then, because I know I need to have a deep breath after that scene. So we're going to take a break. And then
we're going to burgle some people.
And then, yes, it's up to you where you go after that. So we'll be right back, ladies and gents. Where
and panic.
Where does the scene reopen? Are we going to? Do you want to deal with the aftermath of that? Or?
No, I've already stolen the urn and we're returning it to Aquidian.
I actually do have a question.
Yes.
Because it's going to tell me how much Alexandria is still panicking. Because she's probably still panicking, but to what degree?
Hey, thank you. Just another guy named Harry.
Oh, hey.
That's quite.
Oh, it's another Harry. Hello. When we got back to that room, did La Chanson return?
Yes, everything seems normal. Perfectly normal. Spare roses, spare beds. Nothing's amiss, except for the part where Spider's teeth are chattering and he's soaked.
Great. That's
Michelle.
not worrying.
Michelle, this is a question that was floated before, but did we hear the song?
No, for lack of a better... Okay, so what Alexandre heard was within Alexandre's space. I think possibly... I think possibly what Lucas would have heard, and only Lucas, would have been the sound of that tortured harp string breaking. That point of transition where suddenly you were all up to your elbows in muddy water. I think you would have heard that. The rest of it was entirely going on in Alexandre's head.
Great. I think Lucas is going to look to Alexandre and Chevalier and be like, what just happened?
I don't know. But maybe I did it.
I'd be aware of anything remotely comparable happening to Elena.
I'm going to say no. One of those disturbing things, if you will, about Elena is that is her remarkable level of composition. Elena is an island of calm. The rest of the group are the chaos generators. Pretty much the opposite of the situation now. Yeah.
I'm an island of panicking calm.
island of panicking calm. I'm not sure that means what you think.
Archipelago of anxiety.
That's me. How did you know?
Yeah. Hashtag.
Lucas looks at Alexandria and says, maybe you did it.
Or La Chanson did it? I don't know.
The song did it.
I have not ever experienced or heard of the song doing anything like that before. Not to say that it could not, but I do not know of precedent.
Going to use Whisper of the Wild and ask,
All right.
did I do something wrong?
No.
Did you mean to do that?
No.
And why did you do it?
I didn't try to. It just happened.
It just happened.
It just happened. I don't. Sometimes I hear the song, and sometimes it gets louder or quieter, or it's not finished, but it got very loud. Very, very loud.
And then we
And
ended
then,
up.
yes.
And you had no control over it.
No. And she looks at Chevalier. While we were there, I couldn't hear it at all. It's like it was gone.
Do you know where we just went?
No?
Good.
Did you?
Alexandria. You terrify me. And then Lucas is going to walk out.
Okay.
Able to sort of like, I guess I just glance out like a window or something, just to sort of see if there's anything or anyone, just sort of
Casually casting spells through the window, you mean?
just anything suspicious, I guess.
Sure. Again, going with the open legend convention of no need to roll if the answer is no. No.
I'm going to check in on Jasper.
Okay.
If you need anything, let us know. Alexandre. This is purely conjecture. I have no reason, no evidence. But when I learned that, or when I suspected that we were being followed, and we were attacked in that barn, and their objective was to take you and myself, well, there shouldn't have been anyone who knew that we had gone quick enough or knew soon enough to arrange something like that. No one that had any problems with the Donadus as a family. A theory that I have considered is that there is some group or entity that is operating counter to the song, counter to its purpose. If the song has an opposite, it is possible that it would know when the song had picked a herald and then send its own. If you describe the song as getting very loud and then going away entirely, if there were something working against it, that sounds like an attack against the song itself, or the song recoiling from something. And like I said, no evidence. But I want you to be aware of the possibility. Because if it is true, we might be in more danger than we suspect. I don't know where we were sent, but it is clearly of importance to the brothers. If it were an attack, sending us somewhere that has that kind of sending us somewhere where one or more of us would not necessarily come to direct harm, but would be traumatized. Well, that is one way to do it.
Could I avoid using the song?
I don't know. I don't know if any of what I said is remotely true. I have no way of even beginning to understand what the song is thinking. I can merely look at what we know and give consideration, and that is just one option. There are many others.
Right. How's Jasper doing?
Wringing out his trousers into a basin and then having a nap.
Fair enough.
There's work to be done after all. I don't know if you wanted me to roll anything for looking over the blueprints and.
What I'm going to do is I will give you, because you're spending your afternoon doing some study and planning, I will give you 2 advantage dice. Essentially, not legend points as it were, but call them mission points, if you will. That so while you're in there, if you suddenly need to go, oh yes, I've studied this, then
Yep.
you can pick up. You've got an advantage you can spend. All right.
Okay.
So yeah. How's Lucas doing?
Yeah, muted.
Lucas is getting to Jasper as fast as possible.
Okay.
Yeah, just
So there will be a. Are you going to bother knocking at your collective room door, or just strolling in?
I think he'll just go in carefully, just to.
Yeah, I'm standing in my underwear, wringing out a set of trousers into a basin.
Fair enough.
Jasper, you okay?
Yeah. It's not like it's the first time I've relived it. Just not quite like that. You okay?
I'll be fine.
Get some rest.
Jasper, we never really talk about what happened.
Not now, Lucas.
Sure. But you know you can always talk to me.
Yeah.
And I will never let anything happen to you. Again. Know that.
I know.
If ever we're in a situation like that,
Lucas.
no,
I know.
just trust I will be there.
I know.
Alexandre said that it was the song.
I figured as much. It's, she sure is something.
She also said that the song decides for itself.
Just what we need, huh? Unpredictable, whimsical, possible, world-changing deity that nobody understands following us around.
Well, we wanted adventure.
We did it that. I mean it though, Lucas. I need to get some rest. It's a big night.
Yes. If it happens again, I'll be there.
I know. You always are.
Yeah, Lucas leaves the room.
Uh-huh.
Lucas,
Yeah?
I love you.
I love you too, brother. And he closes the door. I think, yeah, and he kind of just stops outside the door and like leans his head against it with this pained look on his face. Before going downstairs.
All right. Is there another scene that has to happen, or do we want to time skip ahead to an altercation just outside of an influential home in the judiciary?
I'm so ready, Michelle, please.
Let's go steal and earn.
Stop asking, just do it.
Let's go.
We'll
out
do
and
scenes
steal
all
and
day,
earn.
but I just want to steal some shit.
I kind of imagine them, everybody getting ready for what's going on, but there's just this unspoken awkwardness.
But on the way, can we make a stop?
Oh my god.
I need socks.
I just need to go to the docks quickly.
Cut to Spider sitting on a rooftop, classic Nightcrawler position. I had to strike out on my own.
It wouldn't be. So that whole episode in the water was in the afternoon, right? So we're just waiting till nighttime.
I was just going to say,
Yeah.
it was a few minutes in the afternoon, yes.
Yeah. So I reckon like it would just be, yeah, there's no reason why we can't just go there.
Sure. All right. So, all right. So explain the cunning plan to me in a semi-coherent fashion, as though perhaps me understanding what it is you're doing has something to do with the odds of your success.
That doesn't make any sense.
I don't think you understand how this works, Michelle. I think you're confused.
We have intentions.
The part that gets me is you think we can explain it coherently.
Yeah. We've been.
The way I imagine it,
We're not keeping it as a secret from you. We don't know.
the way I assume Jasper knows where he wants to, the section of wall he needs brought down.
All right.
So we do that. And then once Jasper is inside and away from the wall again, then we will go up.
Do you need to touch the wall to disable it?
No.
Okay, well, yeah.
So-
then yes, we start with
I
that.
don't remember the exact range, but it's like 25, 30 meters
Okay.
So yeah.
at that level, I believe.
Yeah. All right. So let's start out with that being a thing that I suspect it's a die roll, because awkwardly enough, if you can't turn the wall off, that changes the plan almost immediately.
Yes.
So it's power level 3 is what you're trying
Yeah.
to deal.
So essentially, what I think mechanically I'm doing is using nullify as an area, but like essentially a line. So it's like a stretch,
Yeah.
like a 10-foot stretch of wall.
Okay.
It was 25 feet. It was 25 feet. All right.
All right.
Just lost my train of thought. And I just need to roll above the.
How long does it last?
I think it's only like a minute,
Okay.
but I need to beat like the power level of the boon, which would. If it's a 3, then it's like I need to basically get over a 16.
All right.
Okay.
Now, as a reminder, Chevalier does have a legend point.
Yes, as I was about to say, to get rid of the disadvantage of doing an area, I'm going to spend that legend point.
Okay. I think that's a very good call. Just 1 second while I add 8.
Ooh, all right. Yeah, that was 23.
All right.
Good start.
Yeah. So there is going to be. So what exactly does it look like when Chevalier uses his nullify ability?
It's essentially, it's again with like one of those little like drone things, and sort of like it kind of just splits into like 2, but then kind of vanishes and then sort of reappears like to the either end of the area, and then it just sort of like there's like probably like almost like a ripple between them as the area sort of like shunts off that section of the magic.
So there's going to be probably some effervescent sort of frothing at the edges where essentially the drones are sort of holding the magic back from actually doing the job in that area. Yeah. Okay. So there's very visibly this safe space that for Spider.
Yeah. Well, as soon as Chevalier gives me the nod, this is maybe the first time we've actually seen this in action, but Spider moves like whip quick to the wall and then climbs it in an almost inhuman fashion. So because I have the climbing feat, it says here, I have the ability to climb or parkour perfectly akin to vampires, aberrant creatures, ninjas, insects. So this isn't like I like
a gecko hands, if you will. You just
It's the human spider. Like it's just and I'm just up and over.
All right.
Did he just run up a wall?
Yeah, basically.
Yes.
Like it's like I imagine it more like that like 4-handed ape run thing, not actual apes, but like So like Spider actually like almost drops to all 4s to the step before the wall, and then just like inverts the axis and basically just scales the wall. And it's 10 feet, so they're just like up, grab, over, somersault into the garden.
There's really good news,
Throw him.
Alexandre. It turns out you're not
I'm gonna-
a weirdo.
I was gonna.
I mean,
I was going to lean over to Chevalier and say, to Chevalier, it's like, oh, it looks like I didn't need to throw him after all.
Fantastic.
I also realized I've forgotten it was a 10-foot wall, so it's also just sort of like, well, kind of like, would have been really interesting to see him throw him over a 10-foot high wall. And just like,
The fact that Lucas thought it was feasible is probably giving Chevalier some pause.
I mean, it'd been funnier either way.
All right.
Relevantly, Spider is no longer disguised as an elf. He's just in like
Disguised as a spider, yes.
black burglary gear. Yeah.
Domino mask, stripes.
Yep.
Yeah, he's in a full tuxedo. He's got
An empty sack with a $sign on it.
Yeah.
A rose in between his teeth.
It's just, I like that I'm going for like, Hamburglar, and you're going for like tuxedo mask, and somewhere in the middle is, I guess.
Oh, it's both. It's both at the same time.
Art means we can meet in the middle on this.
But I'm not sure what results are.
Please send your fan art of tuxedo Hamburglar. Tuxedo rose Hamburglar.
Tuxedo. I love it.
You can have,
And that's what you're here for,
have
folks.
Grimace as a Sailor Scout. That'd be great as well.
Yeah, and then my next step is to wait to hear that distraction.
Sure thing. So, about that distraction.
I imagine this is hinging on the idea that over the course of the day we have managed to make the plan clear to Lucas. But if we have, then it's Lucas taking point with Chevalier assisting.
Lucas has a non-zero int, so Lucas is more than capable of understanding the plan.
I can understand this.
Yeah.
I've got learning. I might not have logic, but I've got learning.
Yeah, there we go.
So I'm imagining this is a presence thing. Because it's not about like convincing anyone of anything or deceiving them. It's just making a scene and pulling focus.
Which Alexandri can help with.
Yeah, so I think, but it's also because it's mostly about once they're even there, it's about like not even giving them a time to get the word anything in edgewise. So it's like it basically is like this 3-person act, which is just designed to hold this person in the spot.
Well,
So-
this is perfect, actually. Because Alexandri has been holding in tears this whole time. So she's just going to start bawling
So you're standing. So
at the front door.
I was just going to say. So if you obviously enough the image there. There's a wall around this. There's a very nice gate, etc., etc. So you begin rattling the gate, causing a commotion. It's late in the evening, and so
Pointedly in the field to trigger the wall
yes, exactly.
where it can be triggered.
Yeah. And so, it doesn't quite involve people, everyone turning the lights out and coming out on the step to see what's going on, because you're in a walled community, if you will. And so there's going to be, but certainly it doesn't take too long before, hang on a sec, let me just double check who this is. Yeah, I think it's his turn to be on tonight. When I say short dwarf, I mean short for a dwarf. A bit stocky, dark hair in a mohawk, shows up at the gate, looks at it with a bloody big stick in hand, looks at the bunch, looks at you lot, staying on his side of the gate, because it's a gate. Why would you open the gate? What do you want, lot? Wait, no.
We wish to speak to the...
What do you lot want? Yes, that's it.
Step aside, we wish to speak to the master. And I walk through.
The gate is actually closed. It's a double...
Oh, right. I thought it was open.
No, he didn't open the gate, because it's wrought iron. So he can look through it, and if he has to, poke through it. Why would he open the gate? He's not going to. Besides, he has a speeching disorder. So, he looks at you, and he says, no, it's evening. Come back tomorrow.
No, we wish to speak now. This is an urgent matter.
What?
Alexandri bawls louder.
I'm just going to say, yeah, this is going on in the background.
This woman...
Things were promised to this woman, things that we will ensure take place.
We need to speak to the master, please.
Okay, so first, what's your names? Names.
Michelle, the urn that I'm after, is it on the ground floor or the second floor?
It is on as described, it is the ground floor of the north section of the building.
Okay. My plan then is just to sneak through the door that this guard has left open behind him.
Sure thing. I think that's a deception roll is appropriate. So the house is sort of this C shape, or
The
something.
agility, wouldn't it?
Yes, yes, I think you're right. Yeah.
Moving with stealth is usually an agility roll.
Yeah, fair enough. So it's middle of the evening at this point. It's after dark. So there are lights on in various parts of the house. Spider is going to hear. There's going to be a window open. He's going to hear the sound of a violin playing coming out of one of the upstairs windows.
Interesting. Not pertinent though.
My name is Titus Sebastian Alcott, and I am here on behalf of Lady Talia. She has been requesting to speak to the young master who has been sending her copious letters of late, declaring his love and her hand in marriage. Would you like me to read a couple of them? And he pulls out a wad of paper.
All right. So I'm going to. So at the same time as Spider is rolling, is going to be rolling his agility, I'm going to request that Lucas roll his presence.
So 26 on that.
Wow. Okay. So Spider's a bloody ghost. Got it. Yep.
Yeah.
Do we need to roll anything to give him assistance?
Yeah.
That's an excellent question. Do you wish to assist him?
I wish to
I do.
assist.
All right, then. So the way I do assistance is I will ask each of you to tell me what skill you intend to use.
Also presence.
I am, yeah. Can we both use presents?
You can use whatever skill you feel appropriate.
I am so present right now.
You are so present.
I'm so present.
Right.
I'm so present.
17.
17. All right. I'm willing to give a +1 for that. So it's +1 to Lucas's rolls. The way, so yeah, you've rolled higher than yeah, sorry, +2. Yep, +2 for that. Alexandri.
20.
20. All right, that's worth a +3. So you have a total of +5, Lucas, on your roll.
Here we go.
So you are trying to, so let's see here, and I would think that that's probably against this poor schlop's will, who at best has got a D8.
That would be in total I had an exploding die as well.
And your total was?
28.
28. Oh my goodness. Hang on a second. Nat 20 exploded. So starting with the 25, rolled an 11 on top of that. So 36. So he listens to you go off. It starts at one point in time. He's just letting you people go. And you start reading letters. He's nodding. He takes a piece of paper out, writes something down, starts asking questions. He absolutely, just totally wasting your time. It just completely. But the point is what he doesn't realize. Like, he's just letting you go. He has no interest whatsoever in going to tell the boss that you're here. That's absolutely obvious. But of course, it doesn't matter.
We just need to keep him there.
Right. So indirectly, his blowing you off is actually working to Spider's advantage.
Great. These poems that I'm reading are all...
I figured they would be.
and they're borderline insulting.
Mm-hmm.
Like comparing.
I'm sorry, insulting to who?
Well, they're just both people. Whoever wrote it, it's awful poetry, and to the recipient, it's just offensive.
So Alexandri starts out crying and starts listening.
Yeah.
Wait a second. Did you write this, Drew? Did you write this, Lucas? So
yeah. So Lucas has clearly spent the afternoon writing bad poetry.
So Spider in the house. I'm going to ask you to make a perception check. A perception check followed by a learning check, please. Keep in mind you have your 2 mission dice if you decide you need them.
Yeah. So what am I? Is the learning about like just recalling where I need to go?
Well, yes, because there's a few things you know about this place. One is that there's 7 people who live here. It's 7, right? So part of the game here is not the guards. Part of
No,
being
it's
here
just-
is someone randomly opening the door on the way to the bathroom, as it were, and walking face first into Spider.
Right. So the perception is just like making sure that I'm listening for
Yes, one
anyone who could be coming
okay,
around.
Okay,
All right.
because
Well,
it's not just because you spent the afternoon casing the place, so it's not just a matter of where's the urn, but it's things like picking the route that involves going past the least number of bedrooms, and avoiding the dining room, right? Et cetera,
Yeah.
et cetera. So basically it's learning roll to see basically is executing the plan that you've concocted, and then the
Yep.
perception is, does he get caught out, by little Susie who going for a glass of water, right?
yeah. Well, I will definitely use my mission dice on these two rolls because I think these are the dangerous ones.
Yep.
And I can always save myself with another agility roll if I have to. All right, so I get advantage,
Yep.
for using one of these.
Each one of those is worth advantage 1. So you can, if you
Perfect.
technically you can use both of them on one roll if you want for advantage 2.
No, I'll split them between the two rolls.
Okay.
Do you want them in a particular order?
Learning first, because if you completely hose the learning roll, it will increase the difficulty on your perception check.
That
Literally,
makes sense to me.
essentially, you went the wrong way.
Okay, here's a question. Is this related to my knowledge circle 1 crime?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I think that's reasonable because part of it that reflects your skill set of being a burglar. Yes, I think so.
Then I need to ask the follow-up question. Is the DC higher than 16? Because on a 16 or lower, I automatically succeed. My guess is it's probably higher.
I'm just going to say, well, the thing you don't know is that there is actually a guard in the house. There are 2 guards because this chap hates getting knifed in his bed. So the second guard is actually in the building. So I'm going to say that it is a difficulty 20.
Okay.
This guy, because of the circles he travels in, it's the same reason he's got a watch wall.
Yeah. Well, the good news is I get to treat my learning as if it was 3 instead of 2 because it is related to that knowledge.
Yeah.
And so I'm rolling a d8, and then with the advantage, do I also get advantage from knowledge circle? I also get advantage 1 on the roll.
So you're rolling advantage 2 then.
Yeah. I need to find another d8. Dun, 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 dun. One moment.
While he looks for the dice,
Okay. D8 acquired. My dice are all over the floor.
Yeah. Just one second. Just 1 second, Lucas, because essentially your poetry your poetry bash at the front gate may be interrupted by screaming from the house, depending on how these rolls go.
So you said DC 20.
Yeah.
The bad news is I only rolled a 13 on the D20.
All right. So now the question is, how well do you do on the 3d8?
Well, the first 2 did not succeed.
Okay.
But the one I picked up off the floor rolled an 8, which is going to explode.
Right.
So for a total of 24.
24. Beautiful. All right. So that actually means that I'm going to say that your DC on your perception goes down from a 20 because you have no control over what's going on in the house, and there's noise and people moving around and blah blah, and apparently there's some commotion going on at the gate, right? So again, that was going to be a DC 20, but with a 24, no, everything is running according to Spider's master plan. So yeah, DC 15 on the learning roll.
Yeah, for perception.
Perception check.
Right. Yeah, so I can't apply my knowledge to this, but
this is a literally off the cuff. This is the door opens and Spider vanishes into behind the potted plant kind of thing.
Well, this is the scenes out of Thief or whatever, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Sneaking behind potted plants. Yes. Well, I will use my second mission point.
All right.
DC 15, you say? Mm-hmm. Well, that's lucky because I hit 15 on the nose.
Nice.
Another 13 on the D20 and a 2 was the highest of my 2D8s.
Oh my gosh. So that finds you standing at the door of the gallery where all kinds of objets d'art, and exactly where you were told you would expect to find it is what's clearly, obviously, the urn. Nice polished floor, couple of actual magical lights. This guy is loaded. He's actually spent money for a magical chandelier. It's kind of glittering gently. The lights actually aren't even static. They fake candle, so it flickers and shimmers and causes these beautiful patterns on the walls.
So it occurs to me that we're getting very close to time for our session today.
Yes.
Michelle, I have a question for you that I'm sure my castmates will love.
Uh-huh.
Will you give me a legend point for my proud floor if I spend some extra time here carving a small spider into the place where I'm taking the urn from?
I will absolutely allow you. I will absolutely allow that. So yes.
Cool. Well, that's what I'm doing for the next couple minutes.
All right. So I'm actually going to require one your best thieving roll, for lack of a better way of putting it.
Yeah. It's that agility.
Because
does that make sense here? Actually, I feel like this might be
because what isn't in the briefing, what was neglected in addition to the watch wall, is the fact that it's a nightingale floor. So as Spider boldly strides over to go carving, does he realize what he's about to put his foot down on?
Okay. Yep. Okay, here we go. I'm glad Sam convinced me to take skill specialization in agility.
A little bit happy about that as well.
No exploding dice, but it's still a 21.
21. So there's going to be that moment where you see the slow motion of the foot moving forward, hovering just over that first floorboard. The foot goes back, Spider leans down, pushes ever so slightly on the floor, and yes, those give. And so naturally, because he has his ability to do the human spider thing, the next piece is Spider.
Oh, yeah, the bit of that I didn't read, by the way, the climbing thing.
Mm-hmm.
One could even climb upside down with no fear of falling.
Yes. So the next scene is.
So I think this is up to the chandelier and across the roof.
I'm just going to say. So I think the image is going to be Spider standing with his feet, quote, on the floor, and the urn and everything hanging upside down while he's carving away, and then the camera flips and pans back because he's actually standing on the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how he's avoided the nightingale floor. So, meanwhile, at the gate, yes, Lucas.
Yeah, I've passed it on to V.
Mm-hmm.
I said, and I've said, V. Oh, not V. I'm not going to mention his name. Jorge here is going to sing for you the love song that was declared.
I think that's an excellent place to close the evening. Because I suspect even with the kabuki mask, there's a level of concern on Chevalier's face.
Why are his eyes screaming?
I'm just excited for the song you're going to write for us for next week, Bam.
Oh, boy.
So
Work at what Chevalier's vocal range is.
Well, Chevalier's vocal range is monotone and slightly more monotone, as far as I know. So he's got two versions.
Style of music works for monotone.
Ready for it to be electro.
Can the song be? I want you to write a song, but I kind of imagine being push me and then just touch me till I can get my satisfaction.
When I think about you, I touch my...
Somebody clip that.
Oh, no.
That's absolutely worth it right there. Thank you. Thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. This is the quality content we do here on Do Respite Media.
I like big butts, and I cannot lie.
All right, let's try and wrap this up before we go somewhere that gets Eric upset at us. All right. Jamie, it's goodbye time.
Oh, that's me. I'm Jamie Collette. You can find me on Twitter at Muffin Manifesto or on my website, jamie-collette.com, where I work as a professional voice actor full time. I also encourage you to check out facebook.com/streamed Shakespeare, where I have both directed and performed in a number of play readings, and we are doing our first fully rehearsed, memorized Zoom show in 3 weeks' time, and I am playing Bassanio in The Merchant of Venice.
Wow.
And I can also announce now that I'm directing Richard III in October.
Wow.
Which will be great, I'm sure.
Yeah. All right. Sam.
Hello. You can find me on Twitter at _RealSamEP. Do performance and voice acting and whatnot. Last thing you can hear me on was the Penny Peep Show, their show Town Called Prodigal. They do sort of radio drama style podcasts, and so there's few shows in since then, but those are also fantastic, and I definitely recommend them as well. I was reminded just as we're finishing up, it's like it wasn't, I guess, not Jasper's aggravation, but more Jamie's about the weeks of turnaround between getting a side quest and actually doing something about it. But it does feel good to actually, have plan and
have a good plan and execute it.
It lasted at least a couple of sentences. And that's better than I expected. So,
True.
Winning all round.
We are still succeeding at this plan. It is going exactly as planned. Maybe the how it's going is
what you think it means.
Exactly. Goodbye, everybody. My name is Drew. You can find me on Twitter at Drew Wilson, and also check out, I have a blog which I've been writing little snippets from Lucas's perspective in relation to the world of Lanogiianes and what these four are getting up to. It's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying doing the narrative stuff, which is great. And you get a lot of little moments. Lucas's opinions on a lot of the characters, which he doesn't voice to their faces, because even though he's an idiot, he's not that big an idiot.
All right, Chantel.
Hey, bye. I'm ready for Lucas's bad poetry, which we will have a sample of next week, right, Luke? Right, Drew? Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'll write some bad poetry. If
I'm
Sam
ready for
writes
this.
some
I'm ready to.
songs.
I'm ready
This
for
result in homework.
homework. Both of you have homework. All I have to do is cry. I'm having a great time.
Why am I here?
You why are you us here? This is your fault, Michelle.
I suppose I was going to say, no, it's not you invited me, but no, I invited you. So yeah.
No, this is entirely your fault. I'm the flow-on effect of this being your fault. You can find me on Twitter at Chantal V. You can't find me here later today. Yes, US times. You can't find me here later today, but you'll find me on Twitter because, I'm always there. Mm-hmm. I'm in everything that Do Respite does. So, you can find me on Monday at 11 Eastern with Sam playing Paddington Prowler. You can find me on Wednesday at 11 playing Eternium Gate, also with Sam. Sam's catching up on the games now. And then back here for Unlawful Disorder, and that's the morning time for everyone in the East, but wine time for everyone in the more East. Wait, west. East of me, west of you.
Time zones are hard. We get it.
Time zones are hard. You can also find me at wordswithcolor.com, where I write things from Alexandri's perspective. And lots of other stuff. Like, it's not just that, but like that's kind of the relevant thing here.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am Michel Vaillancourt, the storyteller and game master, as well as the inspired individual who came up with Lanogiianes. I'll use that phrase, inspired, at fault, whatever. So yeah, thanks very much for joining us. You can catch up with me on Twitter, MichelV69, as well as my own game mastering, storytelling-related stream Sunday mornings Eastern at 9:02 PE Gaming. This is a Due Respite production. Due Respite Media is the brainchild of Eric, who believes very strongly in investing in stories. Thank you very much for supporting us. Thank you very much for hanging out with us. If you're catching this later on the VOD, thank you as well. We appreciate your time. Let us know what you think. Subscribe if you can. Follow if you can. We deeply appreciate your support. That's it for this week, folks. We will be back next week with the fallout of a poetry bash and carving session. And yeah, should be interesting. All the best, folk. Take care of yourselves. Have a great week. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.